The final scene always represents something greater than the hero herself. It almost feels like the outcome of the entire struggle will have a far reaching consequence on the ordinary world. The hero and the audience both feel the weight on her shoulders as they wage that final battle and return to the ordinary world, which has now been changed for the better. Our final presentation is how to get a horse to drink the water. A foster child takes on the industry by Claire Muselman. Claire is the director of workers' compensation at Continental Western Group, a Berkley company. She holds an AIC, AIM from the Institutes, a bachelor's degree from the University of Iowa, a master's degree in public administration, and specialist in education from Drake University, where she's now an adjunct professor. Claire is pursuing her anticipated doctorate in education from Grand Canyon State University. Claire is the ambassador for the Iowa chapter of the Alliance of Women in Workers' Compensation and is the new co-host of Adjusted, a claims podcast. Take us home, Claire.
Thank you, Greg. And thank you to everyone who shared your stories. They are amazing. And to share the stage with you guys words won't ever explain my gratitude for being here today. So I'm standing here before you guys to close out the Heroes portion of People's Choice Awards. And the only reason that I am here is from my fantastic family called the Workers Recovery Unit at Continental Western Group. This group was founded back in 2017 when I first came to Continental Western. And on our 1-year anniversary, I was sitting with one of our leaders, Lori Bowen. And Lori, I hope you're out there today because this made the biggest impact on my life thus far. Lori and I are sitting in a conference room in our room 300, and it's a big windowed room, conference room with probably 12 chairs that sit around the table. And in this time period, I looked at Lori and I said, hey, why did I create this? I said, what's the why? I know the purpose. I know we're here to make good things happen for injured workers. Like, we are here to challenge the industry of what you've always done is not working anymore. We are not a checkbox life cycle anymore. We are here to impact human beings and make amazing things happen for them. And Lori grabbed my hand and looked at me with the most kind eyes I've ever seen. And she said, oh, honey, you built your family. You don't have a family and you built one here. She's not wrong. So I'm going to take you back. So I was born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at Mercy Hospital so many years ago. And this is my bear that I'm going to keep with me through this because I went through 4 foster families before I ended up with my adopted family. And during those time periods when you're young and there's all of the talk about how you formulate bonds with people, especially when you're a baby, of having that loving, nurturing soul that comes through, I had 4 families before I hit my family. And so the word family is very different for me. I didn't have those bonds. I didn't have that feeling of I belong here. These people are my people. And so going through those 4 foster families and finally being adopted into a family, it was not exactly what the world would love you to think of how you go through the system. And if you are someone who's adopted out there, I see you, I hear you, and you matter. It does feel different. It does feel different. It's very hard to be adopted into a family and be expected to feel something in a certain capacity. And then on the flip side, if you come into a family later on in life and you're not, and you're blood, but you have 0 life experience, that's also a very challenge too. So anyone that's out there listening that's adopted, I see you, I hear you, you matter. So I get adopted into this family, and after bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and I get into this house, my adopted mother was like, we got to do something about this. The industry is broken. We should fix it. And she joined a group called Resolve that worked with Terry Branstad, who was a recent governor in Iowa, and was also a governor back in the 1980s. And she helped him try and change the system because she knew something wasn't going well enough that this shouldn't have happened the way that it did. So thank you to Mom for always challenging the status quo back in the day. So my mom is out at a Resolve meeting one night. I am 2.5, almost 3 years old. This is a picture a couple days before the incident. Hopefully you guys can see this. So I have one of those awesome bowl cuts, and I hope you all remember those, because if you are my age or a little bit older, you'll understand like that was like the thing. We had those bowl cuts. So my mom is at a meeting, and my dad happens to be an alcoholic, and he is left with the responsibility of taking care of me for the night. And we've already showered up and everything. And I'm wearing this mint nightgown, like it reminds me of Little Mermaid, because it's that mint green with that beautiful pink lotus flower that has like a little pocket in it that when I lost my teeth, I used to stick my teeth in it. So very special night. Dad's making me banquet chicken. So again, if you're back in the 80s, everyone remembers the banquet chicken box. It's red, and I got banquet chicken that night. I was so excited. So I am sitting eating dinner. My dad's at the sink doing dishes. My dad, it's the 80s, so dad's shirtless. He's wearing these burgundy brown, like running shorts. So they're the short running shorts with the white piping on them. And I go to take a bite of my chicken and I realize it's cold. So I hop off the chair and I walk over to my dad and I start tugging at his shorts. She's like, Dad, the chicken's cold. Dad's a few beers in. Dad's not overly excited to be home alone with me, and Dad's not overly excited that I'm bothering him at this point. Dad picks me up and chucks me under the table. I end up cracking my head open, and I'm going to try and show you guys this, but there is a scar within here, and it's about 2.5 inches long from when I was little. My very first childhood memory is waking up with 6 doctors and nurses surrounding me, repairing my head. Adopted family, man. Life's cool. So we get home that night, and after my dad had put me in the car seat on our way to the hospital, and he was adamant about cleaning up the blood because this is a big issue, and my mom's going to be so angry when she gets home. So I sat in the car seat for 2 hours while he cleans up the house before we head to the hospital. Now, mind you, we are a little intoxicated at this point, and I'm just sitting in our Volkswagen waiting to go with a beautiful gash in my head. And now it's about 2.5 inches on my adult head. So let's just put that in some perspective for you. I get home that night and we get McDonald's. So I am ecstatic because we get McDonald's tonight. I'm so pumped, and I got stickers. So I stick the stickers in my hair, and my dad's trying to give me a bath again to put me to bed, and my mom comes home. Not exactly sure the story that my dad told my mom, but I get sent to bed and I can hear them arguing. And so I sneak out of my room because I'm little at this point and I want to know what's going on. And I'm sitting at the top of the stairs next to our English Springer Spaniel, Mandy. And I can hear my parents arguing. And my dad's like, this wouldn't be an issue if we never would have adopted her. Oof. Okay, so mind you on that. We focus in workers' compensation on psychosocial issues. What do you think a 3-year-old hearing that is going to do for you? So I'm going to pause on that and come back to it in a second. Woo. So the dog Mandy is like my person at this point. She is my ride or die because she's a dog. Every child needs a dog. So I would go lay on the stairs with Mandy whenever anything happened, whenever my dad was too intoxicated or my mom was upset or whatever had transpired that night, I would go lay with Mandy. This is one of those nights I just laid on Mandy. I'm at the top of the stairs in a split foyer house, and I am simply laying there with Mandy. So flash forward a couple years, and now we're in school, and my parents had always been very, very forthcoming with me that I was adopted. I told everyone because I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I thought it meant that I got chosen to go to my family. So I got chosen to be in a family. Well, guess what? You know how kids and bullying and all that fun stuff happens? So starting when I was little, and I think it was 3rd grade that was the most impactful, and this is kind of where the rest of the story is going to wrap up. I was in art class, and one of the kids was like, so you're adopted? So your parents didn't want you. I had never thought of it that way, minus the night where we had the incident. So now not only do I have my parents talking about how, well, we didn't want her, I bounced to 4 foster families, and I was put up for adoption. And now my peers are challenging me with, hey, guess what? You weren't wanted. Super fun. So let's take the ages of 3 to 7, possibly 8 at this point. And that is the foundation for the script that I got to live for a while because I didn't know any different. And so when we talk about people who need a champion or just somebody to flip the script, that is where our power lies. So we're back. This is going on at school. I come home on weekends and I'm laying with Mandy because Mandy's my ride or die. She's my girl. And Mandy dies. And I remember I didn't leave my bedroom for the weekend. I tucked myself away. I had a set of twin beds, tucked myself away. And I was like, I am going to just sleep for the weekend. My ride or die just left me. That Monday morning, I woke up and something in me was like, you have a choice here. Here's the Robert Frost poem. Here's a road diverged into the woods. And I'm going to take the one less traveled. I got up that morning, I had a permanent marker and I had a cork board that was in my childhood bedroom. And I wrote on it, most smiles are started by another smile. Be the smile. And I drew a big smiley face. So when I come into the work comp industry and I tell you guys I am glitter and sparkles, I get to be glitter and sparkles because I choose it every day. From the time I was 7 years old, I made that precise decision at that moment that wasn't going to define me. Okay, so my adopted mom had other plans. So the foster families, you go through the system and stuff happens, but then you have a choice of how you're going to take that. Pain has purpose. And in this, that is where you get to be the smile, you get to be the change, and you can help impact other lives. In workers' compensation, we get people at their most vulnerable points where we're going to take a dad out from being able to play with his kids or pick his kids up or whatnot. And we remove people not only from their jobs, we remove them from their life for a specific amount of time. And I know what it feels like to feel lonely and isolated, and I don't want anyone in this industry to feel that way. The foster care system was broken. My mom was trying to change that. I believe the workers' compensation system can be better, and I believe I have the power to change that. I believe you have the power to change that. I believe that every single time that we interact with people within our space, when we work with an injured worker, when we take the time to really figure out what we're doing here and really cultivate our purpose, we can make things better for each other. We can take the time to make things awesome and empowered and inspiring, and we can make the world a better place. And so I leave you with today, that's my story and why I'm so passionate, and I am glitter and sparkles, because I know what darkness feels like. It feels terrible to never understand what family is. You can have parents. Parents do not equal family. And there was no way that I was going to let my childhood bleed onto my daughter. And it was time for me to flip the script and change the life. My dad was an alcoholic. He still is an alcoholic, bless his soul. I wish him the very best. My dad's father was an alcoholic. My mother's mother was an alcoholic. At some point, you guys, we wake up and we flip the script. That's not the script I want for my daughter. And it took a lot of soul searching. And David Vittoria, thank you for speaking today. David helped me realize, hey, you can define your own story, figure out what your story is. And so it takes time to dig in and figure that stuff out. So I leave you guys with this today. Number one, love yourself. Because when you love every part of you, even the really icky parts, and all of us have icky parts as much as we want to be raised fever cleaver. We have icky parts within ourselves. Figure out a way to love them so that you can let it go and you can be free from whatever is coming your way. The kids can't hurt me anymore. My parents didn't want me. Okay, come at me with something better. I'm here to make sure that we as an industry do good things to make people move forward and to understand that we see you, we hear you, and we acknowledge you. I have a scar on my forehead that gets to remind me of that every day. And so I ask you to take whatever position you hold here, whatever impact you can possibly have to make somebody's life better, do it, because you are the reason that we can change the industry, and you are the reason that we can move forward. How do you get a horse to drink the water? You show up as your authentic self every single day and stay true to who you are. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you so much.